What's going on, guys? Welcome back. Another edition, Holy Try Football Podcast. It's me, AY, coming from the state capital, the Commonwealth, the Blue State, PA. I'm here in Canada.
You got it right.
Out of order, but we did it. To my west, D-Berg, what's up?
Thank goodness stopped raining here. 10 days away. I just realized I haven't put up the post yet today. Spoiler alert, that will be Kerry Meyer from the Orange Bowl Kansas Jayhawks. So.
Those tuning in live will have gotten the sneak peek.
Yeah, thank you for supporting our Patreon page.
Yes.
Even though we don't have one.
I'm trying to adjust this camera so this light behind me is not in the way, but Ken, to my east, what's up?
That's Touchdown Jesus smiling down upon you right there. That's the one. You need to keep it there as a Notre Dame fan. I'm good. Enjoying the last few days of summer. We are 10 days away. Very close. Next week is game week. Game week for week 0. I love the purple Notre Dame shirt. AY, ready to go.
Yeah.
How are you?
I'm ready to go.
How are you, AY? I say this from time to time. We never ask you how you are. Rudely, might I add.
I'm good.
Did you get your miles in today?
Yeah. Amidst the storms, went to the treadmill today, pulled a can. Didn't love
Smart.
it. We
Pac-12 network on?
No, I had on midget racing.
I did get some updates. I have to review them. I get behind really easy when you and Ross start firing back and forth on the rate, and I have to. It takes me a while to comprehend.
He refuses to single text. Every time I talk to him, it's at least a 3-person thread. He can't just text me one-on-one for some reason.
He knows I like to be in the know, so I think that's why I'm carbon copied on this.
Could be it. Now him and Ben are talking about some MTV Challenge season 45, whatever it is on.
They are on a long. They've been.
I was going to say that makes the math does check out there. The challenge is on forever.
They watch them all, so there's every thread has its own unique topics, and so I'm watching that on the side here. It will not get in the way of tonight's preview. I am fully prepared with my notes. No slouching from me. It is approaching 9 o'clock here on the East Coast. We are going to get going. But before we do, one piece of news and notes as I volunteered to handle due to the largeness of tonight's pod. The Pac-12, the ACC, and the Big Ten are forming some sort of an alliance. We've seen this in the Hunger Games, on Survivor, now in college football. We believe they're just afraid, and Ken thinks it's TV rights. Very much could be it. I think they're just trying to get on the same page here. So we're all afraid to get left behind.
They don't want to be left in the dark.
Let's just say we're together, and we'll figure it out from here.
Exactly. They don't want that.
Fair enough.
Everything and all the powers. So they're fighting back here. We'll see how it goes. I don't think they have an idea of how it's going to go yet.
No, they don't. They're going to be in together, though. That's good. Tonight we are covering the South. Geographically,
the Southland Conference, right?
Somewhere from Texas to Florida, in between, and sprinkle in there. Next pod, due to time constraints, we might just be doing the freaking west of the Mississippi at this point.
Yeah, I don't know if it's going to be a 3-pod. I mean, given our scheduling issues thus far, we may have to really collapse the next or the last preview before our team previews in week 0. So
we'll go the top left.
At least two more coming within the next week, I'd say.
Yeah, we will discuss that afterwards. But for now, tonight we got 15 teams to go over.
A whopper.
It is a whopper. So I'll get started here. Just go straight in front of me. We're going to start with Florida.
Good pronunciation.
Thank you. In steps QB Emory Jones for the departed Kyle Trask, who, what a year last year he had. Wow. Put that into a nice little draft pick for him. Can's boy, Justin Shorter. Is this the year?
It's now or
We'll see.
never for him.
It is now or never. Someone's got to fill the void here for Kyle Pitts left. I know he was tight end, but basically a receiver. Jacob Copeland, Xavier Henderson. Nice piece of offense too, but a lot of no names here. A lot of names, well, some names, but it was all Trask and Pitts last year. These running backs now, Damian Pierce, who's new, DeMarcus Bowman, I believe, stepping in. You got Florida athletes, but I'm sure they didn't get a Penn State offer being from the South, but so we're not sure how good they are. But that defense, linebacking core is stout. Let me see my names here. I wrote down 3 of them: Ventrell Miller, Brenton Cox, and Mohamed Diabate.
Diabate's pretty good.
That's an incredible linebacking core. The quarterback's really up and up. Zachary Carter anchoring the defensive line. Florida's D, if it wasn't for maybe a throw and shoot last year, could have had a better year. Remember how wild that was? Wait, was that last year?
That was last year?
Yeah, the throw and shoe game.
That was that LSU's turning point right there, the
What a-
up-and-coming program. Maybe they can parlay some of that momentum.
What a game. We did see Florida battle.
Fallout too.
Bama very tough in the SEC title game. So, but whole new squad here, but very highly touted by all accounts. So we'll see what Emory Jones does here. Schedule-wise, I mean, it's SEC, it's the East. All roads lead through Athens basically this year. And they're not going to beat Georgia. They'll probably get by Florida State. I don't know if they get Miami or not. I didn't load up the schedule yet. But I think Florida just let's say a step back here. Let's say I don't know what they were last year actually. I'm gonna say 8-4.
They finished 8-4 last year. They finished.
Yeah, so 8-4, 9.
No,
That last loss was in the 2020 Florida Gators team, according to Dan Mullen.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that quote. That was not the team.
That season, that team's last game was December 3rd or whatever.
And it was a heck of a game. Let's be honest.
Yeah, it was. It was a good game.
They gave Bammer the biggest run for their money.
Yeah, they tested their mettle.
It was just a good year for Florida. Nothing super special. No deep runs here.
Yeah, I'm seeing. I think I'll probably lose to like a Kentucky or like a South Carolina or do like some weird Missouri maybe. I can see Florida State getting on a run or like starting to pick up momentum at the end of the season, maybe surprising them at the end of the season. But yeah, I could see definitely lost to Bama, definitely lost to Georgia. See LSU beating them as well. I'll go with a 3 or 4 loss season for them as well. 8-4, 9-4. I'll go 9-4. I do think Emory will be pretty good.
I'll go 9-3. I don't know what happened in the bowl game.
With the bowl game included. Yeah. All right. I think fair enough. I think they'll be all right. Not as good as last year, but I think shorter. I haven't seen it, but I think he'll be able to do it. Why don't I jump right into, you mentioned the aforementioned shoe game. I'll go right over to LSU. The defending national champions last year, not all that hot out of the gates. In fact, losing to Mississippi State very early, as well as a couple other surprisers like that Missouri game. But, things started to tighten up a little bit. They're dealing with a bunch of COVID stuff. Obviously, the number 1 receiver was not in all last year. Got drafted number 4. They had Terrace Marshall. He's gone as well. But a lot of trials, tribulations, and they got rid of both their coordinators. Going to see what they can do with the new coordinator that they brought in. Well, I think his name is Willie Peets or something like that. I think it might be Willie Peets, actually. But Miles Brennan got hurt in camp just recently. The projected starter. I think he got hurt last year as well, right? That's the reason why Max Johnson was playing at the end of the year and whatnot. But presumed starter again this year. He gets hurt. Seems like a serious arm. Seems like Max Johnson is going to be quarterback, son of Brad Johnson from Tampa Bay. Keisha Butte is going to be back Very nice name. 735 yards last year. It's going to come down, I think, especially with the way the quarterback has been and the uncertainty there, as well as the uncertainty with the receivers up to the running game, which did not perform very well last year. I think they had only like 1,200 yards running or something like that on the ground last year, which was very low. They got John Emery back and Tyrion Davis-Price, both of which highly rated. And John Emery, a top, 5-star back. They got 4 starters back on the line, so I expect them to bounce back this year and be able to run the ball, or at least with much more of a emphasis on it. The defense, like I said, started picking up steam last year, but Bo is gone. Stingley is back. He was, I think, dealing with some injuries last year, possibly the best defensive player in the country. Opposite him, Eli Ricks. They probably make up the best cornerback tandem in the country, but we'll see what they can do. They don't have they weren't disruptive and weren't as good as you would normally expect them to be in the front seven last year. It's a lot athletic, but they've recruited very well over the years. Ed Ogeron, I think, is back to being hungry again. Maybe he was resting on his laurels too much. He had 2 new coordinators last year, and he's going to bring in 2 more new ones this year. We'll see if COVID will or not having as much of COVID restrictions will help them with their installation. As far as schedules go, I do expect them to have a bounce back year. I mentioned just a second ago, I think they will beat Florida, but looking at the rest of their schedule here, UCLA, that's a tough one. UCLA is going to be coming off of 1 game already, week 1. You think I've heard a lot of people jumping on the early line there. I think it was like 9.5 or something like that. But I do expect them to go out to the Rose Bowl and win. I think Auburn isn't as tough this year. Like I've said, I don't think they're that good. I think someone like a Lane Train could get them. I'll let Dan. I think Dan's going to be getting into that.
Coming up next. Yep.
Up next, Bama. Bama, I've got them losing to as well. And then I think Jimbo will get them. So I've got them with 3 losses this year. I'm
going 8-4.
All right.
I think they lose week 1. I do. Hitching my wagon to the chip train.
Dan is on that train.
Yeah, I'm with Dan. 8-4, lost week 1.
All right. Okay.
Staying in the West, the SEC West, that is. Ole Miss, Running Rebels, year 2 officially for the Lane Train. Would argue it's actually year 1. As we all know, last year, unless you won the national championship or played in the playoff, it was a preseason for 2021. For my 5-pack tonight, I'm going to stick with quarterbacks almost exclusively, but I have to make an exception with Ole Miss because I think they have my favorite quarterback room in the country between Matt Golden Corral and J.R. Plumlee. Both incredible. Obviously, Corral will be the arm of the operation and Plumlee the everything other than the arm of the operation. But they only really lose on the entire offense from last year. Elijah Moore, I think he went, I don't know if he went in the 2nd or 3rd round. He's, pretty highly touted draft pick. He had 86 catches last year. But everywhere else, they went young on the offensive line. I'm reading from last year. I wasn't aware of that. So they have a bunch of experience coming back there. Running back, they're set. Wide receiver, pretty much everybody other than Moore from last year, like I said. So really, really high. And, of course, Lane calling the shots with that offense would be really, really explosive as it was last year. So get right into the schedule here as I click off of LSU. Louisville, we discussed this last week. They're going to probably boat race them pretty good. Let's go Tulane at Alabama. I think that's a 3-1 start for them. And then I could see them really getting on a roll here. We just talked about them potentially beating LSU. Before that, they got Arkansas, at Tennessee, at Auburn, Liberty. I mean, this could be, if things break right and the offense stays healthy and is as advertised, I don't think it's crazy to think they only enter into November with maybe 1 loss, to be honest.
Or come out of November with only 1 loss also, or no losses. If they upset.
Right, yeah. Because they've got Liberty, A&M, Vandy. You would think they'd be able to get this. If they enter November with 1 loss, you would think that's 3-0. Or excuse me, Liberty and then A&M, they'll enter that with 1 loss potentially. Vandy and at Mississippi State. So there's a sneak preview. I also have A&M in the draw for tonight.
So you have two? You got 2 losses?
I've got 9-3. 9-3. Yeah.
I mean,
I really think it's going to be a quick. And I wouldn't be stunned if they won more. I'd be stunned if they won at Alabama, obviously. Yeah. But any other game, in my eyes, is winnable with that offense.
I could see them beating LSU. I could see them beating everybody but Bama, basically. It just comes down to if that defense can show up.
A&M's tough. A&M will be tough. But
if they have a particularly bad day, then what it will look like. But yeah, it's the cross division. They get great cross division draws, and this looks like a great schedule for them.
Yep.
Interested to see what the Hugh Freeze game will bring, but I'm excited for this season for Lane. They should be bullish.
Yep. Snaking back to AY or not snaking.
Non-snake. Full round robin.
We go to the 2018 national champions, UCF Knights.
Yes.
I think it was 2018.
18 or 17?
It could have been 17. Yeah,
I think it was technically 17, but
but the game they played, the national champions
the national champs the entire time since 2017. So it's fine.
I mean, it's like 10 minutes ago. I forgot even the freaking shoe game. My ears are still messed up right now. But anyway, a new captain of the ship, Malzahn. So you know what he does in year 1. I'm just saying.
He's got Cannell in his office.
Goes national championships.
Good early.
Cannell's showing the ropes down in Florida.
He's 8 back on offense, including Dylan Gabriel. All 5 linemen are back. From a decent unit, okay enough. But yeah, I think okay unit, all 5 back will be a little better. They need a receiver to emerge. Last time I poked at John Johnson. This time I poked fun at a Notre Dame transfer, Jordan Johnson. He could not get on the field last year. And Irish fans were beside themselves. Maybe he's an idiot. Maybe he didn't know the plays. Maybe he's in the doghouse. Who knows? Maybe he's not good.
Good board fodder.
Anyway, push you down there.
Oh, great. National champion.
National champion.
So you tell me. He's down there now. We'll see what he does.
More than he had at Notre Dame, that's for sure.
Yes. Jalen Robinson and Nate Craig Myers as well at the receiving core. This offense is going to be nice. They put up 1 million points, and they're going to do it again. Defense, not great, but they have 9 back. So could be good. Could be better. Should be better. Doesn't matter if they score so many points. They seem to get 2 stops. They got Big Cat Bryant. Wasn't very good last year, but wasn't really ever good.
They got him, though.
He's big. He's got
did you see what he said the other day?
No.
He was asked would his new team beat his old team. He says 100%. No doubt. No doubt UCF would beat Auburn.
He's a team player. He knows what to say.
Talking shit. I love it.
Look at the schedule here. It's a very fun schedule. I think you have 8 wins for sure. Probably 9. And then some swing games here. At Cincy is going to be really tough, obviously.
They're winning that.
They played a great game last year. I remember locking up last year. I wanted them to win that. I hope they do. At Louisville, they'll get Louisville. But that's week 1, isn't it? No, week 2. No, I'm sorry. Jeez, week 3. Week 1 is Boise. That'll be a fun one. Louisville, week 3. And then Cincy in the middle of the season. Memphis, Tulane, SMU could be coming on. I think you're looking at 10-2, maybe even 11-1 here.
Is going to be gross.
The schedule is not super tough. Boise week 1 sets the tone. If they beat Boise, they should be freight training into the Cincy matchup.
Yeah, I like it. I mean, they're at the bounce house. I think Boise will take a little bit to get going with the new coach and Bachmeier. I mean, I'm not overall sold on Bachmeier. Even though he's played a while, but yeah, I think they'll beat them there. I think they'll lose to Cincy. I see them losing to like a SMU. I could see 10-2. I'll go with another loss in there somewhere they shouldn't lose to. I'll go 3 losses for the national champs.
11-1.
Oh,
I believe in Malzahn.
Malzahn's office. Dan calling from Malzahn's office. Okay, I will. I'll go. I believe it is Oh, it's definitely down. It's down from I-4. It's on I-4. We'll go to Miami. Coral Gables, home of the Dias and the Hurricanes. There's a lot of excitement around this team. And frankly, I could see it. They've got a lot of returning talent, but it all hinges on if De'Aaron King can come back from this ACL injury. They act like he got it like mid-season and like he's going to be ready to go. This guy got it in the ball game. I don't know why like people are automatically saying he's going to be back and not missing a step. And a big part of his game was his mobility. I think he's the second leading rusher. He had like 500 yards rushing last year. That's a big question mark, right? Now, having said that, they return a ton of talent. I'm excited, really excited about a lot of pieces they've got. They lose Brevin Jordan, the pretty good run tight end they have, but they still had another good one. Will Mallory, another big target. They had a tight end. But in addition to that, the top three receivers are back. Mike Harley, Mark Pope, D. Wiggins, fantastic receivers, guys that can stretch the field. And another year in that offense. Obviously, De'Aaron King, he's been in there, I think, 2 years now in Rhett Lashley's offense. And so things have really picked up for him. He's there mentally. We'll see if physically he can catch up. Now, defensively, they do lose a lot of pieces. Rousseau didn't play for them last year, but he got drafted this year. Jalen Phillips, drafted the first round. Quincy Roche, also gone. That's three NFL guys there that are gone. Obviously, the one of them didn't play last year, but that's still a lot of talent. They do have Nesta Silvera back in the middle. He's a big IFA down there. He's pretty good. The defensive backfield is pretty good. Bubba Bolden is back. The USC transfer. DJ Ivy is back there. And then they got Tyreek Stevenson, comes over from Georgia. He was a 5-star, then went to Georgia, played a couple of years there, started for them. I really don't know the backstory there. Maybe you just want to get close to home from Heritage down there in South Florida. But he's back in a fantastic piece there at defensive back. So, it's a lot of people have them winning the Coastal. It's either them or North Carolina. Frankly, I don't like betting on IS. I've never been a big fan of his, but I may have to for the Coastal this year. Again, it hinges on De'Aaron King. Obviously, they're playing Bama first week. I don't see that one being close. I don't know. Did any of you have the line off the top of your head? I think Bama does.
Is it 19 or something?
Might be, yeah. So I can see the 3-touchdown cover here. I think the last time Miami played a good team was Clemson, and they got rocked though. It was a weird. That was a weird game, right? That Clemson game last year was a little weird.
Sure. There's a special teams.
Yeah, there was a
chicanery.
blocked kick that kept. Yeah. Oh, actually, no, you're right. It was not close at all. That block kick made it closer than it was.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. I think
it was a very marketable game.
Right. I think Appalachian State is going back or doing the return trip of the home and home from a couple years ago. You remember that weird trip that Miami took up there to Boone? But I think they'll beat them there. Michigan State. I see a lot of wins here. I'm excited about that Carolina game. I think I could see Carolina beating them, but then losing like 2 other weird games to hand them the division. I could see that happening. But I'll go 2 losses here in the conference, but they somehow win the tiebreaker, and they'll go to Charlotte. I can see Pitt beating them. I see Pickett's charge. They're going up north.
Absolutely.
Halloween night going up north to Pittsburgh.
That would be
a lot of weird things have happened.
That's right. That would be the elusive Hampton, Robert Morris, Pitt Miami doubleheader that I'm trying to pull off.
That's what you're trying to
see. Friend of the pod, Zach Patterson, call the shots.
What will you be in the entire day? What's your Halloween costume the entire day?
I should probably go Halloween costume. I'll have to see whatever the whoever's hip at the time.
Okay.
It could be Jake Paul, to be honest. if he beats Tyron Woodley here at the end of August, who knows?
Who knows? All right, I'll go 3 losses then for them.
Okay.
Dan, you have them coming out of the division?
No, probably North Carolina. I can't, just with the De'Ara King point you made earlier. I can't go more than 8-4 with them.
Okay.
They weren't that great for a lot of the year.
They weren't, and they lost a lot of that defensive line, but
as has already been rehashed. As has already been rehashed while you were stepping away to check on your lasagna. Preseason for anybody not in the playoff for national championship.
There we go.
Last year.
Who are you going to now?
So I'm going to go to A&M here, right?
All
Which is all about the
you. Oh, we were just
all about the U. No, all about the court. Yeah, all about all about the quarterback battle here between. I'm going to need some help with this first guy's name because I don't even know him. Zach Calzada, who's the elder of the two competing, and then we've got Haynes King, the higher rated option.
Like he's the one that people want. Right?
I just read an article from a day ago, maybe not even a day ago, where Jimbo did an interview with the guys on Sirius, EJ Manuel, and I forget who the other guy is on there. But basically non-committal, obviously. So it's really up in the air. I mean, I would always, if you have two guys that are close.
You go with the older guy.
I go with the younger guy.
Oh, well, you go with the younger guy, but the coach will go with the older guy.
Right. More often than not, yeah. Johnny Manziel being an exception there. But this is kind of make or break it. Not if they go 10-2 again or something like that, then it's not going to be the end of the world for Jimbo. But, you got Alabama replenishing at quarterback. You've got all the bells and whistles for the most part outside of quarterback. And Kellen Mond, we were a little bit hot and cold as he was hot and cold on him. So I don't think he's going to be that hard other than from an experience standpoint to replace. So that might be shots fired at Kellen Mond, but I think it's kind of the truth at the same time. So get into this schedule. Oh, by the way, I also saw Isaiah Spiller, stud running back, 150-1 Heisman odds. I will probably, make a selection on that. I'm not saying he's my Heisman pick, but I would definitely test the waters a little bit there. Because this team does not play an opponent in their home stadium, if that makes sense, until mid-October. They've got Kent State. They've got Colorado at the Broncos field, which de facto away game for sure for A&M, but still not at Folsom Field, right? I think that's called, right? Or something like that. Begins with an F.
Sounds right.
Yeah. Home for New Mexico. Arkansas in Dallas in Jerry World. Home for Mississippi State. Home for Bama. And then they go to Fayetteville Field, Missouri. So obviously the Alabama game is what you circle there. I don't see many other threats. I don't think the Buffs will be that. We know that the Pittman, Sam Pittman.
Well, that game's always weird in Jerry World.
Right. He'll be frisky this year. I did kind of breeze over him a little bit disrespectfully with Ole Miss, but he'll be frisky. Leachinator, a wild card now.
So you're not believing in Darrell. Kyle Darrell.
No, I did breeze over Darrell, yes. Your Buffs. You love your Buffs.
My Buffs.
But I think I'd be surprised, young quarterback or not, if they're not 5-0 heading to that Bama game. I will mark it down as a loss. But after that, showdown with Ole Miss and LSU in November on the road. See where they're at. But I think 10-2, 9-3 for sure should be the floor, which is really all you can hope for if you're an A&M fan.
They're at the point where Penn State was 2 years ago, right? You're at the ceiling, but can you break through? And I mean, with Alabama in the division is like it's with Penn State, with Ohio State in the division, it's
exactly
really hard to see it.
It's similar.
It's very similar. And do you think they're competitive with Bama this year? Obviously, they haven't been in the last however many years, since 20.
It's hard to say yes until you actually see it.
Exactly. And I don't know what the line is. Again, I don't have that.
Those lines have pretty much gone away. The look ahead lines. Right. So
I'm
not sure.
I don't.
They'll be an underdog. They'll probably be maybe a 10-point underdog,
7-point
underdog.
Touchdowns. I don't see them keeping it within 2 touchdowns.
So Can will be likely wagering on Alabama in that game.
No,
AY?
Yeah.
What do you say? You can see what?
I
It's
agree
like
with
you
you.
said, it's put up or shut up time for Jimbo. So I could see him pulling out all the stops and keeping it within single digits.
I'm just down on Jimbo and A&M. I think it's just a perpetual thing.
So you're saying three losses this year?
Oh, at least, yeah.
No, Isaiah Spiller for Heisman at 150 to 150.
No, I just can't get behind this. I don't want to say it's stale already because it's been like 3-4 years, but I just don't. I don't know where this is
So
going.
is
Really.
it because like he doesn't have? It doesn't seem like he's got like a calling card. Like I remember I called him the best offensive play caller a couple years ago, but
It's like 4 now.
I mean, it's not like it was a long time ago. It was, but like it's not a spread, it's not an air raid. It's like one that relies on talent and a lot of traditional philosophies. So they're not flashy. When they're good, they're great. But when you're playing against a team like Alabama, when they can just manhandle your ass, it's tough. It's very tough. And when you got like you're leaning on a bell cow like Isaiah Spiller, and you go up against a team with the linebackers like Alabama has, you're going to be shit out of luck most times.
Mm-hmm. Well, the good thing is they've got some time to figure out the quarterback situation, so they'll probably still be having this conversation as they head into Jerry World week 4, I would guess.
Jura. I got
Hard Knocks tonight, by the way.
Have you guys checked out the Hard Knocks? Was it a good episode this past?
I didn't see. I watched most of the first episode and fell asleep. But anyway, we got to keep it moving here.
Michael wasn't exhilarating enough for you.
I was just late. AY, you're up.
H-Town going to Houston.
H-Town.
Clayton Tune taking over all the buzz down there. Woo!
That guy sucks. I remember watching him.
Speaking of preseasons, the 2020s being this preseason.
And 2019 for Daner.
2019.
For Daner.
Well, Daner's son transferred, Logan. So if Tune gets hurt, they're in trouble. If Tune's good,
Is Montgomery Van Gorder available?
I don't know where he is now. Where is he? Marshall?
Is he still in Bowling Green?
Marshall.
I'm not sure where he went. But Houston, look, I mean, is Holgorsen on the hot seat? I think he is.
I mean, everybody's on the hot seat when Tillman's out there scoping out the next guy. So
they need someone to step up here. Offense, it's going to be a Tune show. Mobile Cart running back, Keyshawn Carter, the Texas Tech transfer, and Jeremy Singleton receiver. They need somebody to step up with Tune because he's going to be, if he's nice, then they'll be good. Defense is backloaded, secondary, the back four, the front four is not good at all. They actually have a good tackling secondary, which is good, but can they cover? We'll see. They always forced 6 turnovers last year. Not great. So you think if things do some positive regression there, a little more havoc maybe, they'll be better off. Look, I don't think this team is that good. They're decent. If Tuner's good, then they could be good for like the third time now. But this team really could go – they could go 12-0. I mean, look at the schedule. If they get by Texas Tech week 1, which doesn't scare you, at Rice, Grambling, Navy, the back-to-back at Tulsa, at Tulane. I know those teams don't sound tough, but it could be. Then ECU, Smooth.
Yeah, they don't draw Cincy.
Temple, they don't draw Cincy. Then they got Memphis in the back end. Like, so this could be like in Iowa 10-0 late in the year. Like, this team's not good, but they could have an amazing record. I don't know. I don't like them, but
I can see it. I can see them losing 1 or 2 games. I'll go 10-2. I'll go 10.
Yeah, like when this team's 9-1 at Thanksgiving, like, don't be surprised.
I'm gonna do the Bob Knight. I have no interest in this team.
Yeah, that works. So
okay,
let's get off of them.
Let's get off of them. We'll keep it in Texas. I'll go over to Fort Worth, Texas Christian University. Max Duggan last year, you remember he had the heart issue, kept him out a lot of the preseason, and really got cleared right before the season. So he lost a bunch of time. Between first and second year is the year is where you're supposed to take your biggest jump freshman and sophomore year. Played as a freshman, played as a sophomore last year, made some mistakes, but again, I think a lot of that can be chalked up to COVID as well as the heart condition. I expect him with a full off season, be back to normal, and really take that step. He's a good quarterback. He had the Penn State offer, so he was good. And expect him to take his big stride here. He played as a freshman. Obviously, he showed the chops. He's beaten Texas all these times now. And he just needs to overcome that inconsistency. Should have a lot of good options at running back to back him up. They're returning a bunch of guys, including the former 5-star, Zach Evans, who fell to them basically because nobody else wanted him. He had a lot of character issues and attitude problems in high school. Kicked out of school a couple of times. They took him. Apparently, Patterson said he's kept him on the straight and narrow, and he's been everything they've done everything they've asked of him. So I expect him. I think he averaged like 7 yards a carry or something like that last year, limited time. I think he'll be able to come in and if his head's still screwed on straight, he's got the talent, and they could ride him to some big gains here. They led the Big 12 in rushing last year as well. So that line returns 3 starters this year. The defense not up to par. I think a lot of it was due to injuries as well as COVID issues last year. Not just Patterson, but TCU. Obviously, the TCU, I think they had led the Big 12 in defense like 3 straight years before last year. I think with the normal offseason and guys getting healthy again, Sweaty Man will have his defense going again. And it's been too long. This is like the worst stretch of like 3 or 4 years that Patterson's had in his career. You don't expect him to be down this much. You remember first year of the Big 12, 4-8, and then the next year they went 12-1 or whatever. He's always good for these bounce backs. He had a good year a couple years ago. I think when they beat Oregon did they beat Oregon or I think they did beat Oregon in that comeback, right, in the Alamo Bowl. But I think that was the last time they were actually good, right? And I expect them to make a little bit of bounce back this year. Patterson may be at the end of his rope or towards the end of his career. Obviously, they'll never, they'll never really force him out. I don't think he's a legend there, but
he's got to be a lifetime contract.
He's a lifetime contractor, but I can see him. I can see them beating a lot of these teams, though. Cal will be a tricky one, especially because, for one, you saw the last time they played in the Cheez-It Bowl what happened. But two, Cal is not a pretty team. They'll ugly it up. TCU isn't by any means sexy either. SMU could be a tricky one. Texas will really want to put it on them. I could see them trying their best to get back to it, but I could see another 4 or 5 loss season. Not more at all. I think 7-5 is probably the ceiling. Maybe 8-4. Unfortunately, you'd like to see him go out on a high note, I think.
Yeah, there's been about 4 bounce backs that he's had.
Yeah.
Pretty impressive.
This is the longest he's been down.
Yeah. Hey, White, do you have any thoughts before we move on?
He's wearing the TCU purple.
He does have the TCU purple. We're going to flee the state of Texas foolishly because I organized my preview.
Just ended. I was watching. Guess who won, Dan?
Looks like a Kyle Larson. Yep.
Larson?
It's just stupid at this point.
He's like the Terminator, for those that don't know.
His first race in the midget since the Chili Bowl, and he just wins this.
Well, what was the thing he just won over the weekend?
Oh, the Knoxville Nationals.
So what? Oh, that's the sprint cars, right?
Yeah, yeah. It's hard
These
to
are the
keep track.
midgets.
It's hard to keep track of the cars.
We went over this last week too. Yeah, I like, but again, keep me in the loop, keep me in the know.
And he had a 5-second lead at the road course in NASCAR, and the caution came out, and whatever. But yes, I'm sorry. Back to it.
Yeah. Next preview: a man who was 40 at one time. We made the joke 1,000 times. I said it never gets old. Oklahoma State, in terms of their relatively buoyant, above averageness in the Big 12, or what's left of it now, it seems to be that it's all contingent. Them ascending as they've done a couple of times now, all contingent upon quarterback play. That's why I'm sticking with Spencer Sanders. This is a Spencer Sanders preview here. I don't know. He's had health issues. He's been knocked out of games. This is his third. He'll be as a starter there. You like to think that the track record Gundy does have when he has these guys in there for 2, 3, 4 seasons, like Mason Rudolph and Zach Robinson before him, and Brandon Whedon was he was an old ass, obviously, but he was another one who was around for a while. I'm trying to think, there was one more guy. I think he was a baseball player, Josh Fields.
He was
Way back
one-
when. So was that the same Josh Fields that played?
Yeah.
Like the Rockies? Okay, just want to make sure.
He's the guy that prompted the I'm 40 speech.
Yeah. No, that's Bobby Reed.
Oh, Bobby Reed.
Yeah.
Bobby Reed.
But it
Did
seems
you
like those
mention
should be.
Did you mention the human coat rack?
Well, he doesn't count. He only started the 1 year.
I know.
According to that would be Taylor. Don't call me Yukon Cornelius. Shout out to Frosty the Snowman for that reference. So yeah, I think maybe next year they could get back to the 10-11 win airspace, especially if Texas and Oklahoma, if they flee and they get like this one weird Pitt 2004 Big East type season where Oklahoma State just goes 11-1 because they have to play the 2 best teams in the conference.
Well, they won't be in the conference anymore.
Yeah, well, formerly of the conference. Good point. So, but I think next year, so I did this whole big build up to Spencer Sanders, but I do enjoy watching him when he's healthy. He can be pretty dynamic against, the Baylors and the, West Virginias, Kansas. Well, everybody looks good against Kansas.
Yeah.
But so, I think.
Except for BC.
Right.
No offense, Josh.
They get to ease into the schedule here. I don't see much of a threat. Not much of a threat. They do have to go to Boise. I forgot about that components on the road. But we already talked about the Bachmeier and everything else going on there.
Yeah.
I'm wondering actually if they really start to tether off and that they're maybe a 7 or 8 win team a year is their floor instead of 9 or 10 for Boise, which is their floor for a decade plus, really.
15 years, yeah.
Yeah. So, but they get Missouri State, Tulsa, who's rebuilding. We already kind of talked about that. At Boise, then Kansas Cats, who I always sneaky like them, just because they're the team they can't come up. Baylor, I think. Have we talked about Baylor at all yet during any of our previews?
No, I don't think we have. I'm not a believer in him, but
that's another team with stink bomb potential with the Raiders.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah.
And then they go to Texas, though. I think they'll probably meet their demise there. To Iowa State, getting rougher. Bounce back with Kansas, and then this is probably they have Oklahoma at the end of the year, obviously, but this is probably the swing game, I would say, in terms of whether they're going to be 7, 8 wins like they have been with him, or 9, potentially 10.
Mm-hmm.
At West Virginia, we did them last week.
Right.
There's some potential there. It'd be right in the sweet spot where you would hone that potential if it's going well. To TCU, at Texas Tech, who we'll get into next, and then Oklahoma. So thinking 7-ish wins.
I'll go 7, 8 wins for them. I think maybe one of those.
Over under is 7.5 for them as well.
So you're going under. I will say, I mean,
I'd take the under there. I would take the under. I wouldn't be stunned if they won 8 or 9 of them.
Right. I don't think they're gonna do it this year, and I've got them losing it, but would not surprise me if they pulled it out against the Sooners in Bedlam one of these last couple. Would love to see.
It would stun me this year.
Would love to see. Would love to see. It would stun me this year. Yes.
Yeah, they're going under 7.5.
Is this your last team coming up, AY, or did you do a mystery draft of the last team?
No, Houston was the one that I didn't send in the group chat.
Oh, okay, all right. Did I miss
think
that? Did you already bring that up?
2 more. I have 2 more as I'm checking some scores here. Fred Freeman for the cycle too. What a night!
Yeah, how about AY's Braves? What it looks like we'll have to do another clear the bases postseason episode after all.
Yeah, they've caught a fire last 2.5 weeks.
They're gonna win that. They'll win that division. The Phillies. They cannot stop throwing up on themselves.
Dude, don't say that. Don't say it. I was at the game this past weekend. They look good.
For a game, got it.
For a game. My Yankees,
night-
though. My
What night
Yankees
did you
making
go to the
charge.
game? Saturday?
Yeah, Saturday.
What? How are people going Roth and Dechek, Fenway, same game. You and Rance, Phillies, same
Andy
game.
check.
I'm surprised it was Rance on the field streaking at all. No,
Maybe. No, but
No.
Jeremy Piven was on the field the day before throwing out the
He
first
met
base.
this. He met this.
Yeah, Piven was. Piven
Rance,
was in town
Rance
at
met
a,
this
doing
girl.
a comedy show, too.
Hold on, let's hear this Rance story.
He met this girl in Myrtle Beach, and she happened to live in Philly. So when he came back from the golf trip, he went down to her place last weekend.
Very nice.
Nice. He's a Yankees fan, right?
Oh yeah, he's given Bags a bunch of he's last 2 days with this Red Sox game. It's been funny.
He would be the Notre Dame Yankees fan. Is he a Lakers fan and a Cowboys fan as well?
He actually he is a Lakers fan now because he follows.
He likes the Eagles, though.
He follows Russell Westbrook around.
That's his guy.
So he's a Lakers fan.
Yeah, so now he's a Lakers fan. I don't think he's gonna be a fan of this next
And
team.
he likes Duke basketball, doesn't he?
No, Arizona.
Oh, yeah, you're right. He is. Oh, no, you're right.
We're going to Stark Vegas. What a mess here. This is
Good luck previewing this team.
This is a fun team. Underneath the name here, I wrote 4-8 question mark, 6-8 6 question mark, 9-3 ?
Could all happen. All
This
within
spectrum.
the realm.
This has got to be one of the widest spectrums in all college football. Who's the quarterback? Is it Will Rogers or Jake Abraham? I don't know.
Nobody knows.
Sure, they have receivers, running back, a big old tackle, Charles Cross. Could see him sneaking into the first round here. Probably will see him in the first round. Defense 7 or 8 stars back, depending on the publication you look at. And there's some names there. But really, it comes down to Mike Leach. Can the offense get going? Is the rhythm going? And can they navigate the SEC West? I mean, I know, Dan, you were higher on Lane Train. I think that's fair. Can they?
On paper, obviously.
I mean, I just mentioned how I was down on A&M, so I think Stark Vegas can get them. You still have, obviously, your Bamas and your Auburns, your LSU. It's very difficult. Ken mentioned being down on Auburn. LSU, I think I said, well, I'm not really on them. So could Mississippi State put together here? Sure. Is this, I don't want to call it a gimmick of sorts, but there's a Leach offense that's been copied and modified and now is more successful elsewhere. Can he get it going here in the SEC? I don't know. He came out of the gates firing last year and then complete dud rest of the year. Now a year under a full off
But he
season.
started playing decently at the end of the year. They were all right, even though they lost.
They got the big bowl win.
Oh, the big ball fight.
Yeah. Look, this is a team. I don't know what they're gonna do. I have no idea. So I could take the easy way out and go 6-6.
That's what
what
I
I'm
had.
do.
That's what I had. That's exactly what I had.
But let's
Oh,
say it doesn't work again. 4-8. This could go anywhere.
It could go. I don't see it going above 6-6 though. And that's if you're including the NC State as a win. That's if you're including Vandy as a win and the Auburn as a win. Actually, it's 6-6 for. You're right. It could go to 4-8 very easily.
Okay, that's what we're going with. Sorry,
I'm going
Leach.
6-6. I'm going 6-6.
It happens.
All right, I will. We just fled the Texas, and we will go back to the Texas now. Texas, the flagship, the soon-to-be former Big 12 member and founder. They lose. Did he start for 4 years? Did what's his face start for 4 years?
Ellinger?
Yeah, Ellinger.
Think so, yeah.
Maybe it was. I mean, he came in from Bouchel a while ago, but he played there forever. Great leader, and they're definitely going to miss the leadership. But when he got hurt in that last game against Colorado, against Durrell and my Buffs, in the Alamo Bowl. Casey Thompson came in, had a great game. I think he went like 8 for 10 in terms of flashes. Everybody thought he was going to be the next guy, but apparently Hudson Card is in the mix. There's been real quarterback competition. Really excited to see where this goes in Sark's first year. Obviously, he's architect and done some great things in a lot of places offensively. He had all the tools. So, I mean, how much credit, Dan, do you give him for last year's Alabama offense versus the tools that are there?
Seriously?
Yeah.
30%.
30. Well, I mean, that's fair. And okay.
That would be with the average offensive coordinator probably getting double that.
True. But I mean, he's shown the ability to build good teams. Obviously, he built Washington up out of nothing when he got there into what it eventually became under Peterson's watch. I think he would have done a good job at USC if he had been given the time, or if he hadn't imploded. I
think if he hadn't had the personal demons.
Yeah, right. I think he would have been successful. So I think it is a good hire for them here. The thing is they don't have too much coming back aside from the running back, right? Bijan Robinson, fantastic back, one of the best in the country. But aside from that, they lose a number of their receivers. I think they only have Joshua Moore back, which is I think he accounted for like 472 yards. That's about it receiving wise. So they're bringing in a new quarterback. They're going to lean heavily on Bijan, that's for sure. They got keep an eye out for this receiver. They got Michigan decommit, very good. Actually, not even decommit. I think he had signed with them and got let out of his NLI and came down the way. Very fast, Xavier Worthy. So look out for him. But Pete Kwiatkowski comes over from Washington to take over the reins on defense. They've got a couple of 5-stars coming in that are transfers. Ben Davis was a senior at Alabama. He's coming over. But otherwise, not too much in the way of experience. Aside from the defensive backfield, I think they've got a number of starters back on the defensive end, backfield, but not enough either from a defensive front standpoint as far as production and being fast, or not fast, but creating big plays, right? They got an incredible fat ass in there, Keandre Coper, 348 pounds. But aside from that, I mean, not many, impact. What is a Franklin calls them? I think havoc makers or game wreckers. Not enough game wreckers up there up front for them. So I know we had talked about this a couple weeks ago, Dan, and I was excited to see what Sark can do, and frankly bullish based on last year. They went 7-3, got rid of Herman, but 2 of those losses, one was 4 overtimes against Oklahoma, and then one of them I think they led the whole way with the last 2 minutes against Iowa State or something like that, right?
Yep.
Of course, you can bring up the Texas Tech game as well, which they scored 14 points, I think, in the last 3 minutes to force overtime. But it wasn't, as bad of a year as you would have expected if you were firing a coach. But the cupboard needs replenishing, I think. I think it'll be an interesting season here. Pittman, they got the tough two game stretches opened up. We got Louisiana ranked number 23, I believe. I think they say Louisiana's got everybody back, which I know I think they do, but
it doesn't mean diddly. It shouldn't mean diddly against Texas.
Texas.
Whoa.
Yes, shouldn't be diddly
We're
against
getting
Texas.
to them in about 5 minutes.
What's that?
The
We're getting to them in
Cajuns.
5 minutes.
Oh, they beat Iowa State last year. People remember that. People are going to point to that. I don't buy it. They beat that Iowa State team on like 2 returns for touchdowns, I think, something like that. And frankly, I don't like Iowa State that much anyway. So I'm taking Texas to come out. I think they'll blow the doors off of Mayor, actually. A resounding.
Let's not get crazy here.
A resounding.
This is still Texas we're talking about.
We'll be back.
Yeah.
Texas will be proclaimed back after this game, and then they will fall right back down to earth with the Pittman. I think they could scratch a win out there, but I could see Pittman.
They're beating the Pittman. Oh, they're beating the Pittman. I'm talking to you, Uncle Rusty.
Okay.
It's
So
Tyler's
then
uncle is what
we'll
I'm
go.
saying.
Okay, they'll beat Pittman. They'll scratch out the Pittman. They'll beat Rice. Texas Tech. I don't see Wells making it past like midseason this year. But then we'll talk about that. TCU, I mentioned they should beat them. Then you'll get. I think they'll be undefeated going into Red River. I do. And then I think they'll have the doors.
That I don't know. I don't know about that TCU game, but go on.
Right. I think mainly as a revenge here that they're upset about last year and I like to bounce them back. And the freaking TCU president saying, you know, if they wanted to be better, they shouldn't have gone 3-7 against TCU or something. 3-7 against us or something. So that's talking a little bit too much shit there. Pride comes before the fall, as Narduzzi and Antonio like to say. Oklahoma will blow the doors off them. I will say that I think that they will beat Iowa State this year, which means that they only got one automatic loss, but I think they will slip up against like an Oklahoma State or a Dub V, and or Kansas State, and I can see them with 3 losses here. I'll go with 3 losses for them.
I'm going 8-4.
8-4.
And how dare you not mention the Casey Thompson? I know you're trying to protect your Buffs, but
I did.
8 of 10 for you mentioned his Alamo Bowl game.
Yeah, you didn't hear it.
You
had a great game against Terrell and my Buffs. 8 for 10. He's
just checking. Just checking. There was a lot of other.
Check the tape.
I'll check the tape. All right.
Check the tape.
I was researching that probably as you were saying it.
Okay. I mentioned the Casey Thompson in a dogfight with Hudson Card. A lot of people thinking Casey Thompson is a shoo-in after his Alamo Ball performance. I even said the 8 for 10.
Got 4 touchdowns?
No, I didn't mention the 4 touchdowns. I said a lot of big plays.
I'm up.
You're up.
We're heading over to Lubbock. I only drafted them so I can make fun of their quarterback, who is Oregon transfer Tyler Show. You will hear it pronounced Shuck. However, it is spelled like pizza dough. So he is Tyler Show, and he has.
Why can't it be Shuff? Why it's spelled like rough?
Yeah, or Shuff. It's Shuck. It is incomprehensible that he would pronounce it that way. So on this show, I will pronounce it Tyler Show.
Dan, your Irish brethren do pronounce it McLaughlin.
I know. I have a problem with that. This team's probably going to go 5-7. Matt Wells liked him at what he did at Utah State. How could you not? But it's tough. Tough year. And, I just drafted them so I can make fun of Tyler Show.
All right.
And he has the guy has no intestinal fortitude either. That was a disgrace that AY's Beeves chainsaw them to come back, and then he did not have the cojones to lead him down, retake the lead.
And he relinquished the job to freaking
Anthony Brown, who I like. I'm also driving the Anthony Brown Heisman campaign. One side card will be Isaiah Spiller, and the other is Anthony Brown. It's one of those 2 guys is winning the Heisman.
I don't know if I believe in Anthony Brown.
I'll have to check his Heisman odds while AY goes.
AY, you're up.
We're going to finish up here down in Lafayette. The Raging Cajuns, Louisiana, 5th-year QB, Levi Lewis at the helm. I put run game, question mark. I think they had two rushers last year under 400 yards. Like, they don't run the ball. Billy Napier, is this his last year there? Perhaps, probably.
He better think about it. That's all I'm saying. I would definitely think about it.
They have pieces, offense, defense. I wrote down 9-3 at worst.
That's fair.
That's at worst. Losses could be App State, at Liberty.
Postal, right? Or they don't draw Postal this year.
No, they don't draw Postal. App State, Liberty, and Texas week 1. Week 1, they're getting 8.5 at Darrell K. Royal Memorial Stadium.
Disrespectful.
Love it. I'll take those 8.5. Thank you. Win that. They go to Michigan State, as Rance calls it. Ohio, Georgia Southern, South Alabama. I like them this year. Almost took them. Then a nice little extended break. Appy State on a Tuesday. What a game that could be.
That'll be sweet. Oh, yeah.
Louisiana App State on a Tuesday.
At Cajun Field, the Hornets' Nest. It might actually be a Hornets' Nest if they're undefeated.
I'm thinking 10-2 here for the Cajuns. I think Texas got a little fortunate with them Cajuns being ranked 23rd.
Yes.
Just so they see that number there. And Texas is 21, so it's like they can't really puff their chest out too much.
No.
They will, though.
But they will. If Louisiana was unranked here, I would give them a much better shot of winning.
I would too, but I think the fact that they did go in and beat Iowa State and Ames last year should.
Those Texas kids probably just think that Iowa State just sucks or something.
But they beat their asses last year too.
They're on their freaking high horse. Like the new coach vibe. You saw them riding that human bicycle today.
Oh, I was dying at that. So gross.
I knew you would be. I was waiting for you to send it over.
Oh, I was out there.
I was just going to say stupid or something.
So stupid. Instead, I was enthralled with Penn State basketball's graphics as usual.
Oh my, yeah, I forgot to even comment about that. Oh my gosh, what an eye roll moment! Grade A bunk.
Yeah, it's expected at this point. So
it's expected from any social media. Like they probably tell them like put up whatever. Any social media department find anything possible and just put it up there. People will retweet it.
I'll have to go back and check, but yeah, I'm sure it's got 300.
Yeah.
Any
department will do it.
Where are you going, Ken?
I'm going across that Red River, and we will close out with Texas and Oklahoma from my end. While we try East. Oklahoma, the two defectors. Oklahoma, all over the place as far as the top four. I think most people have them number 3 or number 4. I think maybe some people have number 2, honestly. Mainly on the back of Spencer Rattler, who last year as a starter had his highs, some very high moments, a couple of low moments, but he's back. You guys would agree that the top quarterback in the country returning?
Who's that? Rattler?
Yeah.
Spatler?
The Rat Man.
Maybe I'll call him Spatler. I don't know.
Spatler.
Spatula.
I'm going to say no, but
I like Purdy and
I like Purdy more.
Yeah, and I'm drawing a complete Howell.
Yeah,
I also like Sam Howell more, yeah.
Maybe. Rattler.
What about the Conehead too?
The Conehead's in there, yep. And Pickett's charge, Clifford.
You're right.
Big
All
red
of those
dog.
have bigger bodies of work. They do have bigger bodies of work. Maybe better than Rattler, may not be. But Rattler came on at the end of last season, and Lincoln Riley finally having a homegrown quarterback, right? Not some guy, not some hired gun he had to bring in off the transfer portal, right? Rattler, he's got a bevy of receivers, but also, it's also precarious because it's so good, their skill players are, that a lot of them that aren't starting and at the very top of them have gone in the transfer portal. So if any of these guys get hurt, they're going to be very thin, very fast, right? But in the meantime, they've got Marvin Mims coming back, Theo Weiss, Jaden Hasselwood, all these guys, 5-star receivers that are young, explosive, have produced already in their early careers, along with Greg Stoops, the Jim Rat, the high IQ slot receiver back there. That's Bob Stoops' son, I believe, or maybe nephew. Is one of the Stoops' sons. And then they also got Stogner out there at the tight end. Not to mention, they also have a Pittman transfer, Mike Woods, coming in from Arkansas, who has over 1,000 yards the last 2 years. This is a fantastic receiving core. May not have the depth if there's injuries, but Rattler's got weapons galore, and I expect them to put huge numbers on. They lost their best lineman last year, but they brought in 2 Tennessee transfers, Wanya Harris being the one of them that will probably take over for left tackle. He's like all SEC, got 5-star coming out of high school. picked his ass up, along with Eric Gray, who had over 1,300 yards in his 2 years in Rocky Mountain, right? He's probably going to be the starter. He's fantastic on purpose, like a guy, that most Tennessee guys compare to Kamara over there, guy that can catch the ball, run the ball, very shifty, very good. And then you'll have Kennedy Brooks back. You remember him? He's plodding back from 2019. He was hurt before the season last year. Got over 1,000 yards 2019. So great 1-2 punch at running back. It's a fantastic offense. I mean, when is Oklahoma's offense not fantastic, right? Excited to see what Rattler will do here in the second season as a starter. I think he'll be very good. I expect them to be probably the top offense in the country. Defense, Alex Grinch came over from Ohio State. Ohio State fans were excited to see him go, but you remember the 1 year he had at Ohio State, pretty shitty. But before that, he had put together some, formidable defenses at Wazoo for Leach. And went over to Ohio State for the promotion. Didn't do that well when it goes down to Oklahoma. And turns out he still knows how to coach. Last year, Oklahoma, or before last year, you remember Oklahoma, absolute trash on defense. But turned him into the third-ranked defense in the Big 12, which is pretty good. And it's a big turnaround. He's got a lot of guys coming back as well. Guys like Delarian Turner-Yell, who is back there safety. Their second leading tackler. They've got a big game wrecker. Game wrecker. There it is from Franklin again. Nick Bonito, who's a linebacker as well as stand-up defensive end, comes off the edge. Just makes a ton of plays for them. One of the favorites for Big 12 Player of the Year. And then back there also, the linebacking core, they've also got Brian Asamoah, who the leading tackler last year. He's back as well. He's pretty good. A long, rangy linebacker, not your traditional huge guy, but a guy that fits in well in the Big 12 with a lot of those offenses. And the guy out of Columbus, actually very low rated. Did not have the Ohio State offer, but had the Penn State offer. So, he was good at linebacker, but ended up going to Oklahoma and has done pretty well for them there. He's back. Oklahoma, I've got them going to the playoff out of the Big 12. Let's see what they have schedule-wise. I think I've got them going undefeated, but just want to double-check here. What do you guys have them going?
Yeah, I think I put them at 12-1 or something like that.
I don't even have the one. I don't see the one. I think they will.
Then they go 13-0?
Yeah. I could see them losing one in there, but I got them going 13-0. Yes.
A lot of dumb losses.
They do the dumb loss. They do the dumb loss.
Almost every year.
Yeah, I think they will. They will not be overlooking Iowa State, and I think they may blow the doors off Iowa State.
I think they lose to them again in the regular season, and
they beat them again in Jaro World.
Yep, that's right. That'll be my prediction. But.
All right. And Dan, how are you going to close this out here?
The one, the only, the beautiful Terrence. I don't know if he's a Terrence or not. Terry Bowden.
Terrence.
UL Monroe, the Warhawks. I picked this team because
R.I.P. Bobby.
R.I.P. Did we mention it last week? I don't know that we did.
We did mention it at the end last week.
We did pigeonhole Bobby Bowden in the end.
Sorry, Bobby.
They're funny. They've got Terry Bowden, as already mentioned. They've got Rich Rod as their offensive coordinator. They've got Rhett Rod on their roster, son of Rich Rodriguez.
Rhett.
They've got so much going on there. They play Deion Sanders at Jackson State. It's a lot of fun to just – if you don't watch it, I understand.
Bobby Bowden broker that non-conference game?
It's quite possible. Yeah, it could have been on his deathbed in one of his last
what things to happen to you?
Last items or last things to do. It's just a lot of fun. And I'm not telling you to watch any of these games they play, but at least on Sunday when you're reviewing everything that you missed or just recapping everything, just check and see what UL Monroe did, especially when they play Jackson State, because that's a lot of fun. I also noticed that they've got and reading up on them a bit, I spent 3 minutes reading up on them, skimmed through the bold headlines. They've got a Colby Suits who is 6'4", 245 pounds and a quarterback. That could be interesting. And then I already mentioned Rhett Rodriguez. It looks like he's got the inside track to win the quarterback position, and they got 4 or 5 guys on the offensive line back. Everybody knows that I'm talking about defense. So it could be interesting. 1.5 is the season win total, and I believe, AY, did you listen? I think this was one of the Bears picks I heard or saw. I think he might have taken under 1.5 for this team.
Who is this?
I love nothing. This is UL Monroe.
I know. Yeah, he did.
He took under 1.5, right?
Yep. Because I was
looking
at Kansas right now, and I'm looking at their under too.
Yeah, that was Kansas is fine. Is an under. I'm going over. They play too many games. Like it is a beefed up a little bit Fun Belt, but they could beat fucking Deion Sanders. That team lost in the spring a couple of times. And Georgia State is always weird. South Alabama South Alabama goes 7-5 and then 0-12 or 1-11 the next year. They're bizarre. Spavital, AY's guy down at Texas State. They can get a couple. I think they've got 4.
Needs a good year.
Yeah, I think they've got 4 winnable games.
Covered against SMU in that first game of the year last year. I lost that bet. I was pissed.
Yeah. So 4 winnable games. I think they get over 1.5, and I get the added perk of going against the Bear.
That's a good win. That was a winner.
So he will be losing some money from his Bear Bank or whatever the hell they call it. Some cheesy.
His honeycomb of money.
Yeah.
Bear. All right.
So
we whizzed through that 15.
We did. We were about 15 minutes shorter, I think, than the last pod.
That's where I was consciously doing that, and also I prepared last time I droned.
You did a good job, Ken.
Thank you. We didn't have the news notes from last time, did we? Or did we
It was
do
very
news notes
efficient by you.
I think we might have done a brief news, but the longer news was 2 weeks ago.
That's true.
We'll probably run it back with maybe another 15 piece at this point.
Maybe.
We'll
With
discuss.
the Midwest and the West, the Mid and the West.
We'll discuss in a few minutes after we sign off here. But that's all I got for tonight. Word.
Yeah, it was fun.
Tomorrow morning, which will be Thursday morning, the 19th, will be 9 days. And I was doing some snooping around today. Will not be doing Bradley Chubb from NC State, but
What about
Pat Dillingham.
What about Peter Warwick? Pat
See,
Dillingham.
Pete Warwick's the first one that always comes to mind when I think of number 9.
We've definitely done him before, though, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I haven't gone through the archives, but we've had to have done him.
Pat Dillingham would have been good. That would have been good to do.
I'll find somebody back in the I don't know, high school days. So we'll throw it back to 15 years, find somebody. But that's how close we are. So gear up.
Next
Cannot
week
wait.
is game week. Next week
We've got a busy week. Can't wait.
Yeah, so from me, AY, from the beautiful state capital, the blue state of the Commonwealth, Pennsylvania, to my west, Danburg.
Good night, all. Did I do the salute last time or no? I don't remember.
Looks good. Can to my east.
We're doing it this time.
No foreign language for Can.
Adios,
Staple.
amigo. Adios, amigo.
Thank you for listening. We'll be back with some form of the Heartland plus any of the West Mississippi or just straight
Midwest,
west.
West. The Midwest,
Or
West.
Midwest, all kinds of West. Some form of
West,
West.
Midwest. West, Midwest.
And we'll see you next week. Thanks for listening. Have a good one.